If your preschooler constantly pauses to look at your face right before answering a question, you are making a massive teaching mistake. Look, we all think good teaching means jumping in to point out mistakes immediately. We help because we care. But every time you do that, you are secretly destroying their focus. When you correct them mid-thought, you aren't helping them learn faster. You are actually training them to rely on your approval. There is a deeply counterintuitive rule you must follow if you want to build a truly independent learner before they even start school. It's incredibly hard for us to do as parents, but it will change everything. I know how hard this is because I faced the exact same problem. As a founder and a father of two, I built the Dependency school platform because I realized firsthand that the absolute best start I could give my sons wasn't my constant, stressful teaching. It was giving them the right tools to learn completely alone. To understand why this counterintuitive rule works, we first have to look at what happens when we try to be helpful. Most of us naturally assume that the faster we fix a mistake, the faster our child learns. But ignoring the reality of how focus works is costing you your sanity. When you sit next to your child and point at the right answer to speed things up, you aren't saving time. You are actually stealing their chance to figure it out themselves. You're probably thinking, but if I don't correct them, they'll just practice the wrong answer. That is the trap. The worst possible mistake parents make is treating a 4-year-old's learning session like a race to the finish line. The reality is that real-time correction physically shatters a child's deep learning focus. Think of it like the interruption tax. It's exactly like when you are in deep work at the office and someone taps on your shoulder to ask a quick question. Your momentum is destroyed. When you constantly jump in to help a preschooler, you are taxing their attention span until there is nothing left. But the tax they pay in focus isn't even the most dangerous part. The real danger happens when that interruption tax turns into a permanent habit. If you continue to overhelp, you are guaranteeing that they will never learn to trust their own brain, which means you will be stuck doing their homework with them for the next 10 years. Every time your child hesitates, looks at your face, and you give them a reassuring nod, you are actively coding their brain to seek out validation. We love when our kids look to us for answers because it feels like we are parenting well. Therefore, it feels incredibly unnatural to just sit back and watch them struggle to find the right button. But if you correct them mid-thought, you train them to rely on your facial expressions rather than trusting their own logical deduction. We call this the validation leash. You are tying their confidence directly to your reaction. Instead of trusting the numbers on the screen, they are just reading the tension in your eyebrows to guess if they are right. To cut that leash, you have to completely remove yourself from the equation. Which sounds impossible until you realize you can outsource the heavy lifting. This is where you fire yourself as the teacher and officially step into the role of the strategic architect. If you don't take this step, you will burn out from the daily conflict of trying to force your child to study. The secret to raising a child who learns alone is placing them in a frictionless environment that doesn't need your input in the first place. But most educational apps are just digital babysitters filled with ads and gamified noises that distract them. They aren't built for true independence because they still require a parent to explain what the app wants the child to do. That is exactly why, from the starting click of a quiz to the very end of a quiz, Eleventy School is designed to let your child entirely drive the UI. We built automated voice directions, automated voice corrections, and clear error explanations right into the code. It's like handing them a bicycle with perfectly balanced training wheels. You just point them down the sidewalk and they do all the pedaling. You let the machine deliver the bad news when they get something wrong, completely separating your emotional relationship from their academic performance. When you finally stop hovering, something amazing happens. You get to step away from the exhausting drill sergeant role and sit back, calmly, while they work. The ultimate goal of early education isn't to cram facts into their head. It is to build that thick, unbreakable, I am an independent learner muscle. When you secure that foundation now, they will never feel the anxiety of falling behind in a traditional, inefficient classroom. You are, quite literally, buying back years of childhood freedom for them and peace of mind for yourself. Now that you know how vital it is to step back and let them take control, there is a very specific way you should execute this handoff tomorrow morning so they don't get frustrated. Hand the device to your child, log into Eleventy School, simply say you are driving the session today, and force yourself to sit in total silence for 10 minutes. If you want the exact tool that makes this silent, independent workflow possible, click the link down below to start your journey with Eleventy School today.